Hello, this is Dread from Epic Builds, where you can find quality content for the game Last Epoch. We work hard here at Epic Builds and would appreciate a comment and a like, as that's the best way to tell YouTube we are doing a good job. All of these builds are homegrown, no save file editing, no deception, no underperforming setups, just epic builds. Cue the video. So in today's video, we have Arborus's Necrotic Spirit Plague Lich. So this build is getting to about 500-ish corruption before it encounters some difficulty due to all of the nerfs to Arborus's old build that would get up to 1000 corruption. Poison Lich, he decided to try to make Lich great again. The rework to Spirit Plague, it definitely ruined it for poison builds, but they added a node that allows you to gain 1 flat spell damage per intelligence. This allows you to scale Spirit Plague enough to actually clear these higher Monolith echoes. Now, this is wave 500 plus content, and forgive him for the 2-minute Arborus boss kill, but sadly, due to all of the nerfs to Lich, there's not many ways of increasing the single target DPS, especially as just necrotic damaged over time. Now, he is using Drain Life for most of it, but from my conversation with him, this will probably easily blast 200 to 300 monoliths if you want something fast, and obviously not wanting to push as high as he is right now. He's just stress testing the build. You can definitely go for this build, as Spirit Plague absolutely rocks now, thanks to the fact that we can actually deal damage with it, because before you could not scale enough damage to make Spirit Plague function. But thankfully with that change, now you can stack intelligence. So this is an int stacking Lich. It's utilizing Death Steal and Reaper Form for a significant amount of more damage, and it's also utilizing Drain Life for single target. So Drain Life is a skill that just gives you a bunch of single target damage because you can lay it on the ground, does a lot of damage over time, and you can lay it twice before you run out of mana, which allows you to pretty much kill most bosses. Like I said in the footage, it is a 500 plus corruption corruption Arborus, so it's going to have a little bit of difficulties with that, thankfully, because of all the nerfs. And, you know, the nerfs were successful. Poison Lich, at least in its old state, is no more, and this is its replacement. So if you were playing Poison Lich before and still want to do a decent amount of corruption, this is the build for you. I'll be doing an updated version of Poison Lich eventually, but it will probably not be as good as this. With that being said, let's get into the planner, shall we? Here we are in planner with the build. Like I said in the intro, it's an int stacking Lich. So let's talk about the skills real quick. So for Spirit Plague, this is their first skill. He takes 1 point travel into Hindering Affliction, making Spirit Plague slow enemies, making it harder for them to get to you. 1 point into Enfeeblement. Enemies inflicted with Spirit Plague are inflicted with Frailty. It also stacks. So if you cast it 3 times, they'll be inflicted by 3 stacks of Frailty for the duration of Spirit Plague. Then, of course, 1 point into Plague of Eyes. Spirit Plague has additional spell necrotic damage for each point of intelligence, and this allows you to scale Spirit Plague to the moon, and allows you to clear up to the higher corruptions, about 500-ish, as 1000 is kind of a fever dream down now with a bunch of builds. 3 points into Effectuous Application for mana efficiency and duration. The longer the Spirit Plague lasts, the better it will clear monoliths. 1 point into Discharge, so you get a free spread after 3 seconds, which allows your Spirit Plague to very quickly clear monolith packs. 3 points into Perpetuity for the increased duration, and of course the increased cast speed, allowing you to weave in Spirit Plague casts while you're moving. Very strong. 3 points into Pestilence. This is one of the biggest nerfs. It used to have 75% per time you cast, and it used to stack infinitely. So, as you can tell, a very large nerf. He's also utilizing Plague since he's scaling damage over time. This will spread across trash and kill it quicker. Plague doesn't do that much damage, but it does enough to clear trash very quickly. 5 points into Rotten to the Core for more damage, then 30% or even more damage, but it reduces the spread range. But it's fine because monster packs are usually close together. Sorry about that, I'm still sick. Then for the next skill, he's utilizing Death Seal. This is your stereotypical Death Seal setup. So mainly he's just running, the main difference is he's running Hungering Soul on cast from Death Seal to increase the single target. Like I said, everything about this, the clear is fine. It's just fixing the single target. Just a lot of more damage, sets you at 33% life and gives you an insane amount of damage. Then of course we got Reaper Form here. A little bit of an interesting Reaper Form setup we got here. We got 1 point into Soul for a Soul for increased damage because you want as much increased damage as possible because you're going to have to make up for the fact that Spirit Plague doesn't single-handedly carry your your damage over time anymore. Then 3 points into Reaper's Curse for even more increased damage. 2 points travel into Mistress of Decay for increased damage over time. It also reduces the health drain from Reaper, so you stay in it longer. 4 points into Soul Shroud. So this actually gives us armor per intelligence. So this gives us a large amount of armor, which is then scaled by Desperate Shroud as well. And you actually get a decent amount of armor as a Lich, which is kind of funny. Then we take 3 points into Reap. So it has increased cooldown recovery speed. He is not running Transplant, so he's just reaping everywhere instead. And especially because of the buff, it allows you to deal with that. Then 2 points into Reap range, so it makes you fly even further. 2 points travel into Death's Tusk Sight. 1 point into Haunting, so you have a chance of Mark for Death on enemies. Then, of course, 3 points into our Dark Harvest for the 18% crit kill or Reap kill threshold, which is insanely strong for bosses, especially when you're scaling them all the way up to like 500 corruption, so you can kill them within the last fifth of their life. Then we have Hungering Soul, which is cast from Death Seal. So mainly you just want to go for the global increased damage over time, which is more increased damage. 1 point travel, then 5 points into Descent to the Madness for more damage. Then of course 1 point travel into Necrotic Prec. The -2 projectiles don't matter because Death Seal hard codes the Hungering Soul to only shoot out one. So you just want one single Hungering Soul. 4 points into Grave Bond, then 3 points into Unholy Trinity. So if you did not know, on his bar, he actually, since Hungering Soul is cast from Death Seal, he's actually summoning 3 summoned skeletons on... Sorry about that, I'm still sick. 3 skeletons, so 1 skeleton for the 60% more damage, then 150% for 3 minions, giving your Hungering Soul a lot of damage. 1 point into Isolation for even more damage, then 1 point for even more damage. And that's it for Hungering Soul. Just a lot of single target damage. And of course, Drain Soul. This is your stereotypical Drain Soul, but we're going to go over it. 4 points into Empowered Drain for more damage. 1 point into Lay Waste for 40% more damage. We don't care about the Life Leech because we get a lot of leech other ways, specifically through everything else we run. 2 points into Ravenous Travel, 2 points into Insatiable Travel, then 1 point into Dark Shackles. This will add a flat mana cost to Drain Life and turning it from a channel skill to a skill that you can throw onto the ground and kill enemies with, and to obviously put under the boss. You can actually put about 2 of them on a boss before you run out of mana. None of these other skills cost mana to actually use, which means all of your mana can be used on Drain Life, which gives you a significant amount of single target. And of course, 3 points travel into Thought Seal, 4 points into Condemnation. Drain Life applies a stack of Damned each second, so now it's 4. And of course, 3 points into Unholy Mass, so you actually get a bunch of more damage from all these damn stacks. Then 1 point travel into Word of Conviction for damn duration. Now, one cool thing about this is if you put 2 Drain Lives on the target, it will get 8 damn stacks per second, which will allow you to reach the more damage cap with the Unholy Mass quicker. That's pretty much it for the skills. Now for the passives here, we take 8 points into Forbidden Knowledge because we want as much intelligence as possible. 4 points into Bone Aura. He's actually building armor for sustain while he's in Death Seal. 8 points into Stolen Vitality for the HP, because the more HP you have, the tankier it'll be when you're in Death Seal. 6 points into Eye of Damnation for 36% increase necrotic damage. You want as much increased damage as humanly possible. And also, I believe it's for the Damned chance. So you actually have a Damned chance on hit, meaning that you'll get extra hits of Damned, which will make your Drain Life hit the cap of Damned quicker. Then 10 points into Apocrypha. You want as much intelligence as possible, like I said. 8 points into Dance with Death. This is tripled while you're in Death Seal, so it's 120% increased damage. 7 points into Survival of the Cruel. This applies to everything that you do. The Leech. 5 points into Grasp of Fate for the increased damage. 8 points into Bed of Soul for Vitality. 8 points into Crippling Insight for more intelligence, because intelligence is OP with this build. 8 points into 3 Plagues, as that Necrotic penetration is absolutely busted, as you do not have any Necrotic Shred with this build. Pretty much, like, you do a little bit, you hit a little bit, but not enough for it to matter. So penetration is the best against bosses. 10 points in Necrotic Energy for even more flat Necrotic. 8 points into Corrosive Conscious. This actually double stacks on all of your stuff because it's all spells and damage over time, so it actually double stacks, which is insane, like double dips. 10 points into Mind Over Body for even more intelligence, and then 5 points into Soul Maw for the Leech and the increased health leech, so you actually heal up very quickly. Now, for gearing here, he's running Intelligence, as much intelligence as possible, HP, recovery. He's actually running an Omnis. Arborus is one of the people I know that is a proud owner of a decent Omnis. He's actually capped here, but some of his stuff obviously isn't capped. The Omnis doesn't actually properly show on the planner, so his Omnis is just capping his res. You don't actually need an Omnis, it just helps a lot. You can actually just run anything else, to be honest. Anything with increased damage, he's just running it because, big dick moves, right? And then weapon, increased curse damage. This applies to Spirit Plague. The 66 spell Necrotic is perfect what you need. Increased necrotic damage, increased damage over time. Those will both apply. Your suffixes literally don't matter, so you just want good prefixes on a Profane Wand. Then for the shield, he's running block. So he's going block. This is the main reason why he's going damage over time, because it allows him to go block. He's at 55% block chance, which allows him to actually tank a pretty large amount of damage, so he doesn't instantly die. As Orbis in the higher corruptions, he likes to bitch slap you out of Reaper form, which is a problem, and that's why we're running the block, so we have a 55% chance of not getting bitch slapped out of Reaper form. And of course, for the chest, Vitality, Intelligence, increased health, probably you'd want flat health, although the increased armor does increase all the flat armor you get from everything else. Then the ring, Intelligence, increased necrotic, more damage over time, res, endurance. Same thing over here. Intelligence, you could have even more intelligence, necrotic damage, crit avoidance, poison res. You do need to cap your poison res later on, because at corruption 500, things will actually kill you very quickly. The crit avoidance is obviously important, because at 500 corruption, you'll get to 100% crit chance on mobs very quickly, so you need to be crit avoid capped, otherwise you're going to get slapped. Then for the gloves, more endurance, intelligence, damage over time, health. For the boots, as you can tell, he's trying to go for as much intelligence as possible here with all the exalteds. You don't need the exalteds, although if you want to push as high corruption as he is, you probably want the the exalted intelligence rolls, but obviously you don't need them to actually play the build. And of course, intelligence, HP. So this has dodge on it. It used to go dodge with these builds because dodge potion existed, but now don't go dodge anymore, because dodge potion was actually removed this patch, so it's better just go with HP. Then of course for the relic, a bunch of increased damage, more increased damage, intelligence, and then more res, right? And then of course, if you have slots here, you can always fix it for the Omnis, so you can put like resistance everywhere else. Then for the blessings, endurance, obviously, so you can cap it. For Age of Winter, he went for block effectiveness, so his shield actually was very strong. He's actually getting a lot of block effectiveness from this. Then crit avoidance, obviously, to cap his crit avoid. Then void res, and then of course, pretty much void res, so you can cap his void res. And that's pretty much it for the blessings. That's it for the gear. For the idols, he's going for increased spell damage while low health, because you're always at low health when you're in Death Seal form. You want to apply Dam on hit so that you reach your cap on, of course, the freaking thing. Also, necrotic damage over time is what Dam does, so it does scale to your stuff. So it is good to use. Of course, increased spell damage while transformed. You're always transformed when you're Reaper form. Same thing with the spell damage while you're at low life, so there's a lot of increased damage. some hybrid HP idols, of course, and then even more increased damage. As you can tell, he's trying to go for a lot of increased damage so he can make up for the loss of the Spirit Plague nerf. Now you can imagine how big of a nerf that is with how much increased damage he has to actually stack. Now, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching Arborus' attempt at trying to regain his glory of 1000 Corruption Lich, but sadly, it won't be today. Now, obviously, this build's very strong, but not strong enough to go over to 1000 Corruption. 500 is about its best, but I would heavily suggest playing it at 300, 400, so you absolutely zoom as Spirit Plague kills things so quickly. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye.